Howdy, I'm Mike Wilkinson, General Manager and VP of Paragon Innovations, a TTI company.
And I'm Mike Willey. I am the Vice President of Technology for Paragon Innovations.
We're here today to talk about education and what it takes to do product development, all the steps involved. And we've had, as you know, we have many customers come in our office and ask questions about product development, how do I get my requirements right? Or maybe they think they have a requirements document that says, I want it to be small, fast, and efficient. Those aren't really requirements. And so we try to help them out. That's our fifth core value is community education. But we also developed this education piece. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we did a series of effectively short classes. It doesn't take but 45 minutes to run through the whole thing.
All 12, yeah.
But it goes through the 12-step process of coming up with an idea while you're standing there in the shower and taking it all the way through to actually being in production. And so we break it down into the steps that you need to perform and where it's appropriate to get money, because Mike, I don't think I've ever seen anybody, even in big companies, that had all the money they needed to do to go take it to the end the day that they got started. And figuring out how we can find that's a big part of this training is how do you find money? How do you make it so that you can sell your value proposition to somebody?
Yeah, so there's the sales and marketing aspect.
Yeah.
And in these set of videos, we didn't do it ourselves. We brought in some experts in the various fields to perform those classes, to give it to the benefit of our customers so that they understand that. And not only our customers, but prospects and students and general population that just want to learn about how to be an entrepreneur.
Well, and I think that goes back, you and I both love not just to do things, but we also love to help people understand the things that we're familiar with and the things that we enjoy. And you have an absolute passion, particularly for helping people understand how you can start a company, start a product company, and bring the product to market. You were involved as a young entrepreneur, darn near fresh out of college, at a startup company where you ran the engineering for a small startup company and were very successful. But we all learn through mistakes, and there may have been one or two.
Maybe only one or two.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you're teaching down at A&M. We're both involved down there, but you're a full professor down there, or a
lecturer. But yeah.
So you're the man. They call you professor down there.
They do.
And so you're teaching down there and been doing that for at least 7 years now, and warping the minds of these young people.
That's what I love. It's and one of the cool things that we do with that program is that we actually use the Paragon development standards as what we teach young engineers how to actually do that design process.
Right.
And that's really fun. And I remember, so important side note, the boat was named Paragon before the company. So when Mike and I first met one another, even before there was a Paragon at all, just the boat, we would go out racing sailboats in the summer.
Yes.
And racing sailboats in Texas in the summer is to some extent an excuse to drink beer.
Yeah, go slow.
There's, because the wind's not blowing and you're going to go at a rip-roaring half knot, and but we got a lot of talking done, and we talked about all the companies that we'd worked for and how they understood that stuff needed to get designed, but one of the things they never got was, oh my God, we need to develop documentation, and the time to do that is while you're actually designing.
Right.
You need to develop documentation to say what you're going to design, and then the documentation while you're designing, and then you finish it up with all the post-production stuff. And people don't understand that in industry. Even today, there's so many people who put the cart before the horse, and quite frankly, engineers don't help. Because
they're
none of us went to school because we wanted to learn how to write better English.
Yeah, exactly. You're probably the exception because you like to write, but I don't. But so another thing that's important is I think our documentation and our process that we've developed at Paragon, we'd like to take full credit for everything we've done, but we can't. It's just that we've worked with so many companies and we've gotten to see how they do development. And every now and then there's something that we find that they do better that we'd like to add to ours. And so
That's true.
Ours is really the culmination of these 50 or so major multinational companies, as well as our own stuff and things we've learned from smaller companies. So all together we have this process that wasn't just, we started off with a process that you and I created,
right?
But it's morphed a lot since then.
Well, it has, and it's one of the true joys. What gets me up in the morning is that I know that when I show up at Paragon, in spite of my vice president title, there's a high probability I'm going to learn something today.
Absolutely.
And that's what gets me out of bed in the morning, is being able to come and learn something new. And it's interesting because all of our customers want us to be experts on the specific technology that they want, and it's hard to explain to them. Our job is to learn that technology and then implement the solutions that you need. And
right.
It's hard for them to understand that that's kind of what we do all the time. We are professional learners.
Yes. If it was already done, then you'd just be making a Me Too product.
Yeah.
And who wants to do that?
Well, and how are you going to make money at that? If everybody and his brother makes one, it's the cheapest guy wins. Yeah, exactly. And you always want to have something that's out there doing something different.
So I think we're going to be able to do even more education with our clients, and we're going to help more in our process. It's just going to continue to grow over the years. I'm really looking forward to that from here on.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and it's going to be great having the support of TTI.
Absolutely.
Because we've got so much more access to that potential customer base. We're going to be able to talk to people when they're very early in their decision-making process and educate them how to make those decisions better. And what I believe is going to happen is that I believe that all of those people are going to have more successful projects because we'll be able to bring in and help them understand what they need to do early. And quite frankly, that's what motivates engineers, is to see their products be successful in the field.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, Mike.